Donald Trump had a particularly bizarre appearance where he addressed the special counsel being appointed to oversee the federal investigations into him, and a few other things. The first moment I'll show you, and I apologize, the audio is quiet on this. I'm boosting it 17 decibels or something, and it's still not as loud as it should be, but he kind of is going back to his pre-2016 election messaging, where the whole "these immigrants are rapists and murderers," maybe thinking that that will revitalize a very lifeless campaign.
We're a third world country in our elections, and our borders are wide open with unknown people, many of them, many millions and millions, criminals, terrorists pouring into our country, millions. And don't believe when you hear 2 million or 3 million. I believe it's 10 million people. I believe it's 10 million. Our country is changing before our very eyes. We have no idea who these people are and where they came from. And they're terrorists, and they're criminals, and they're murderers, they're rapists.
So it is very much of a, deja vu moment there to hear him using that type of rhetoric, again thinking, well, this worked for me in 2016, so maybe I'll give it another try. Not that he ever really stopped, but that particular wording seemed to take a back seat for a moment, and now it's back, and they're terrorists, and they're murderers, and they're rapists, when we understand the complete group is people looking for a better life. That is the story, the characters you will see if you actually cared to learn about these individuals. Here's another moment addressing the Justice Department, appointing a special counsel to oversee his investigations.
Only to find out that the corrupt and highly political Justice Department just appointed a super radical left special counsel, better referred to as a special prosecutor, to start the process all over again. We thought it was just about dead. As you know, just about the top person, one of the top people in the Justice Department, Lisa Monaco, a major Trump hater, I mean beyond belief, is in charge of the case, and she's totally controlled by Andrew Weissman.
Okay, as I've said before, if your only response to alleged crimes is, hey, the people either prosecuting or investigating me are X, Y, and Z, clearly you're trying to distract from any actual argument you could have for why you're innocent, because he really doesn't have one, especially, or many of them, but the Mar-a-Lago case just could not be more clear. You weren't supposed to have the documents. They asked for it multiple times. You didn't comply. Then they found the documents when they raided your residence. Not that difficult to understand that case. But all he has to say in response is, I don't like the people who are investigating me. Okay, quick side note, this is not important, but the bizarre sound issues that this clip is having, if you're not paying attention to this, maybe it doesn't matter to you. To me, it was really irritating. It was like in the background. Come on, get your stuff together. Here's the next moment.
And you have to understand them. They're sick people in so many ways, but we've done nothing wrong, and they've committed massive crimes. We're not going to let these atrocious abuses continue. We can't. As a party, we can't, and as a nation, we can't. We're going to stand up to these tyrants, and we're going to take away their power, and we're going to restore government for the people. That's what we have to do.
I don't know exactly what he's hinting at there, but I am concerned when you start telling a bunch of people who have been told their entire life the reason why they need their Second Amendment is to fight back against a potentially tyrannical government, that the government has become so tyrannical because they're coming after me with tons of evidence of the crimes I've committed. It's time to fight back against that. I definitely worry about how people will take that. Then he claims that, wait for it, he's the most honest and innocent man, I forget what he says, man in the world or country.
Pages of documents, tax returns, and everything else. And they have found nothing, which means I've proven to be one of the most honest and innocent people ever in our country. Everybody knows that.
It's true. I know.
Come on, son.
He is the most honest in the history of our country. Of course, that is ludicrous. There's so many lies that you can just directly prove are lies. One of the strange ones that always baffled me was he takes credit for this particular executive order. He says, I signed this executive order regarding the VA, okay? And it was signed under Obama. And there's footage of Obama signing that executive order, but he claims time and time again that he signed it. It's just, why? Why do you lie about that type of stuff? Very strange. And then something about double jeopardy.
Impeachment hoax on January 6th. And they tried it.
You hear that buzzing, right?
Yeah, I
Sorry,
hear it.
drives me crazy.
In the Senate, they went through the whole process, and we won. We went through the whole process. So wouldn't this sort of be a... and then you take a look at the other. We went through two of them. And isn't this sort of like double jeopardy? In the old days, they used to call it double jeopardy. But essentially, we've done so well, and we did well in a very hostile Congress. We had impeachment.
So he has teleprompters, but clearly is not using them, because it's as if you're sitting next to someone on the subway and they're just kind of rambling about a bunch of different things. You know, they said that, well, you know, double jeopardy, and they used to say double jeopardy, and you're just kind of, totally, to the stranger, you know, on the bus or something. And that's what he's doing in front of lots of people, maybe. I don't know how many people are watching this, but some gala that he was speaking at. And then even C-SPAN, that literally broadcasts the House floor when votes are going on. Incredibly boring. Couldn't take it any longer after who knows how long of rambling, and cut away.
Weekend. In Afghanistan, when I was in charge, we didn't have one killing. Think of it. In 18 months, not one of our soldiers were killed. And then you look at Chicago and you look at other things.
Former President Trump has moved on to other topics. We'll take this opportunity to move on with our program schedule.
C-SPAN, packed program schedule. Couldn't take it anymore. So there it is. This is such a different image than the 2015-2016 campaign, where there really was, even if you hated him, even if you didn't want him to get elected, which I didn't, so much more life in that campaign and so much more energy behind it when it was in this phase. Whereas now you can just tell such a different characteristical feeling where he's kind of doesn't have a clear message. He's rambling about this and that, and he's definitely been told a bunch of times, stop bringing up the 2020 election. Moderate voters don't like that, but he can't help himself, so he switches, or he fits it in there and says, I probably shouldn't be saying this, but maybe China influenced our election, and seems really confused about what his path is going to be during the next 2 years to try to get himself back into the White House, which hopefully will not happen. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to be a part of what makes this show possible, plus get access to the full video version of the show hours before any of the clips are uploaded to YouTube, plus get access to an extra full show every Saturday that only members can see, you can do so by going to patreon.com/Luke Beasley. That's patreon.com/Luke Beasley, and there is a link in the description.